Hello and welcome to Introduction to ClearTrade Supplier FTA Ingestion app for GTS. The purpose of this application is to enable SAP GTS Free Trade Agreement Management Module users to be able to send FTA cert requests to their suppliers, receive the PDF, ingest it automatically, and record it in their GTS application. Let's see how that happens. So what exactly is this application? It's an AI large language model based FTA ingestion app. It will take the supplier FTA certificates with hundreds of lines of items, multiple languages, different formats, and it will, in a fault tolerant way, extract all the data and maintain the record represented by that FTA certificate in GTS. So it'll extract the data, validate it, and maintain it for you, and it'll do so in both online as well as in batch mode. So if I were to go over the individual features, what exactly is it? It's ability to handle different formats, so not just requests going out of GTS, but self-generated requests from supplier systems, hand-keyed on stock paper. Each one of those use cases can be handled using this ingestion app because of its fault tolerance based on the large language model that can handle those types of issues. It can handle certificates in multiple languages, so it automatically recognizes Spanish, French, English, and other languages, and finds the appropriate data that needs to be recorded in the GTS system, obviously with validations. It can handle multiple line items, hundreds of line items of pages, and that's where the savings from a labor standpoint come in for you as an FTA analyst. The integration with your GTS system is native. It will auto-maintain the supplier certs. So the act of uploading the PDF and saving will basically create a record in GTS based on whatever data came on the PDF certificate. And the certificate itself also will be recorded and attached to the record in your GTS, maintaining it as a system of record. So validation data against data in GTS and the ability to batch submit supplier LTSTs as well is also part of the feature set. So in a nutshell, this is basically what it looks like. On the left-hand side, you see the FTA cert generated out of GTS, the upload into the LTST FTA application, the extracted data that can then be saved and recorded in your GTS edition for HANA system. So let's go to the next slide and look at the remainder of the process. So this is an example of a certificate request that is being generated out of GTS. The request goes out via email to the supplier. The supplier sees something like this. They basically see an example of a PDF request with the list of parts that have been supplied to them. The form looks something like this, or whatever gets generated out of your system. It's an empty request with a list of parts that have been supplied for that by that particular supplier. So in this case, in this example, we see it's a single part, but we're going to take an example where there are multiple parts that have been supplied by the supplier over the course of the year. Once the request goes out, the supplier basically fills in the LTSD, returns the PDF back to you, the FTA analyst, and you as the FTA analyst basically upload it, or it can be uploaded in batch as well. The AI model accepts the FTA certificate PDF, presents it side by side if you're in foreground mode. As you can see, it picked up the request number 60 because this specific request came out of the GTS system, and we can see that the supplier has actually filled in all the parts and the preference criterion and everything related for the USMCA free trade agreement. On the right-hand side, we can see the header data that have been extracted, including the request number, issue date, etc. the items that have been extracted from the PDF. So we can see 4 of these items with the preference criteria, country of origin, etc. And if I click on save, everything, as long as everything is filled in, has been determined by the system. It will basically save your PDF and record it in the GTS system. So inbound or the FTA certificate has now been accepted and created in your GTS system under this number 50,033. Okay, so this is an example, different than the first one, where the supplier is returning an LTSD, which was not something that was generated out of GTS. So it can be something that supplier has entered manually generated using their own systems, or maybe even hand keyed something on an existing certificate template. In this case, it also happens to be a Spanish language one. So with this example, we're trying to show the capability and the adaptability of the solution to certificates that are not getting generated out of GTS. So if I upload in PDF of the file and refresh, again, this can be done, as I said before, in batch mode as well as in online mode. Obviously, for this demo purposes, we're showing it in online. So on the left-hand side, you can see the supplier FTA certificate, in this case, in Spanish language. And you can see there are pages and pages of line items coming back from the supplier. Doesn't look anything like what we generated in our first request. And on the extraction side, you can see it has extracted the supplier details. If I click on item, will again basically show all the extracted data side by side. And if you as a user wanted to check what's getting extracted, you can verify when you're in online mode. So there's almost 100 line items of products, origin, etc., that have been supplied by this, in this case, in this specific LTSD by the supplier.